Okay, so we got more stuff, more practice with our trig identities. So the first few slides were kind of an introduction, and now we're going to move into some problems that maybe, easier, harder, depending on how you look at it. But definitely practice makes perfect with this stuff. So we're going to start working these. So with all these problems, what I would do is I would just go ahead and work them out. And after you work them out, watch the video and make sure you got it done right. And that's my best recommendation for these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. You guys do the same and go ahead and crank out the identity for this one and simplify it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write the answer down up here. So the solution for this is going to end up being cosecant squared theta. So if you got that for your solution, maybe you just want to move on to the next video, see if you got that one. If not, see what's going on here and see if you can spot your error. So I see this in a couple of things that we've talked about. We've talked about, okay, let's get everything in terms of sine and cosine. Okay? And sometimes we have to look for math things to do, like distribute or move things around, and we might have to do those things. So how you start is up to you. What I did with this problem is I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I got secant squared theta plus cosine squared theta, and okay, well, I'm going to maybe just distribute and see what I get and go from there. Okay, so before I put anything together, when we distribute, these guys are being multiplied, because I see a little bit of pattern here. Secant squared is the same as 1 over cosine squared. Okay, so that I know cancels out. And cosecant squared is the same as 1 over sine squared. So I know this just cancels out and becomes 1. It doesn't disappear, it becomes 1. And then this is cosine squared theta over sine squared theta, and that's going to equal 1 plus cotangent squared theta. Well, and this is one of our Pythagorean identities. So if you look at one of your Pythagorean identities, it's going to end up equaling cosecant squared theta. And there might be different ways to do it. If you need me to check if you did it a different way and you want to make sure that what you did is correct, that your steps are right, you didn't magically poof get the answer, just bring it into me or send me a video or a picture of your work. I'm more than happy to determine whether your work is correct, okay, for those of you in my class. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hop and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to write the answer on the board so you guys can see that it is going to equal cosine. Okay, so it equals cosine. So maybe you got cosine, you want to just skip to the next video, make sure you got it right. That's great. If not, just go ahead and keep on watching and see what we get. Now this one, it's already taken care of as far as there's no distribution, there's no foiling. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get everything in terms of sine and cosine. And so you'll notice here that we have secant. There's no squares, so I can't use any of those Pythagorean IDs, at least yet. Not sure if that's going to happen. And then tangent is sine over cosine. So these two guys I converted to terms of sine and cosine. Okay, so I got 1 minus cosine x minus sine times sine is sine squared x all over cosine. I have two terms with a common denominator, so that's going to give me 1 minus sine squared x all over cosine x. Well, we know we have one of our Pythagorean IDs, which is sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. So if I move the sine over, I get cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x. And that gives me a way that I can replace, right? Cosine x can be replaced for that guy. So that's going to equal cosine squared x all over cosine x. And just like if it was x squared over x, these guys reduce. And that's how we get our answer, cosine x. Okay, I'll have a couple more videos that have 2 videos or 2 examples or maybe even 3 examples, and it'll be the same format.